Hey everyone, it's T, and this is another Paranormal Personal. I know I did say I wanted to make this a possibly regular thing on Old Spirit's YouTube channel, and yeah, that was a year ago. And here we are, 1 year later, and I finally am sitting down and making another Paranormal Personal. Now, what's funny about this Paranormal Personal is that it kind of ties back to the one I did about Chris, because that was actually about something that happened on an investigation with Sam and Colby. And right now that seems to be all the buzz in paranormal circles. People are talking about Sam and Colby. People are talking about Satori and Cody. They're talking about everything that happened during that 1 week where Sam and Colby spent at the Conjuring House. Yes, they are, Benedict. They are. And the thing is that I'm not here to comment on that. I'm not here to do yet another video about Sam and Colby and their week at the Conjuring House. That is not the intent of this video. That's not what this Paranormal Personal is about. What I have seen of Sam and Colby at the Conjuring House is what I expected from Sam and Colby at the Conjuring House for a week. They're bringing in guests. They're having a good time. And then there's the whole thing that happened with the Paranormal Couple, a.k.a. Satori and Cody. And I've got nothing to say about that because I've had my opinions about Satori and Cody since they first appeared on Ghost Hunters. But the discussion that is currently circulating about Sam and Colby and Satori and Cody, that's not what I'm here to talk about. This is a Paranormal Personal talking about the line between paranormal entertainment and paranormal investigation. And I am going to lead into this by saying I have been at this for roughly 2.5 years. Paranormal investigation. Dove into it with Phil, invited me after we'd been playing Phasmophobia for about a year. And what I figured out about paranormal investigation, I figured out by watching the people that I respect. I watched the entire run from beginning to present day of the Ghost Hunters. So I think we should talk a little bit about the Ghost Hunters and how they factor into all of this, in particular about paranormal investigation and paranormal entertainment. When you watch that first season of Ghost Hunters, it's very different from the Ghost Hunters of today. Here's where I'm going with this. When you watch the first season of the Ghost Hunters, it really is two guys who are into the paranormal. They've got a group, like a lot of people that you meet in these circles. A lot of people you meet in these circles are just people who have an interest, and they get a group together and they start doing this. But that first season is them pretty much debunking every video that they bring back. And it's being debunked as dust. It's being debunked as an odd noise. It's something in the pipes. And that was part of what made Ghost Hunters for me fascinating, because people were going in, people being Grant and Jason, and they were saying, yeah, you know what? This is not a haunting. This is bad wiring. This is something coming out of the toilet. This is just, they were two guys from Roto-Rooter, and they were actually pulling down the veil, if you will, of the mystery behind paranormal investigation. And on top of that, they were shooing into each episode these wacky little, cutaway segments. You had Brian, who was, dude, run! That whole thing, and it really was, it was not the Ghost Hunters of today. But what had happened, what changed it, was one particular episode where Grant leaves. They're like at a lighthouse. I'm not pretty something about lighthouses, but they were at some kind of lighthouse or somewhere on the ocean. Grant leaves, and the camera that was left in that room is sitting there, and the chair moves without him. Now, it was interesting, it was fascinating, but of course, every alarm bell in my head at that time was ringing, singing, okay, this is not paranormal. That was, somebody was pulling something somewhere. It just felt a little too convenient. And, I'm hearing myself say these words now, and I'm like, wow. Ooh, considering how many times that someone has said that about the stuff that we've caught just in our 2.5 years. Yeah, I get it. It's easy to dismiss, But for me, the line crossed over, if you will. The line that made me go, okay, there is something to this, was when they went to another lighthouse. This one I do remember. It was the St. Augustine Lighthouse. And that was the one where they caught a black object, a shadow figure, go up 2 flights of stairs, and then look over the banister and not set off any of the motion lights that were at the top of said lighthouse. That was a game changer for me. And then we started to see more of what the ghost hunters are today, you know, and that's kind of how paranormal investigation started on television, was with the ghost hunters. But what I do remember was that around the time that the ghost hunters started ramping up their paranormal content, and they began to focus less on the wacky, goofy asides at home and amongst the team and all that, that was when the Ghost Adventures popped in. So now we've got Zach Bagans and the Ghost Adventures. And just from the name of it, Ghost Adventures, when you go on an adventure, there is a sense of danger. There's a sense of risk, which means you got to ramp up the activity. And I have sat through several episodes of Ghost Adventures, and I can honestly say this is not for me. This is not paranormal investigation. It's paranormal entertainment, and it's probably the pinnacle of paranormal entertainment. They were the first ones to really go, okay, if we ramp up the danger, if we ramp up the action, we can start bringing in bank. And they did. And I would not blink to say, no, they're not paranormal investigators. And if you were to say, well, what proof do you have? The Ghost Adventures crew, with Baggins at the lead in his little Union Army cap, basically went through Gettysburg and didn't find a single thing. You have to work really hard not to find anything at Gettysburg unless you're not trying. And I really just did not care for the Gettysburg episode. That was the last episode I saw. And the fact that they brought back nothing from Gettysburg made me go, okay, I don't know what these guys are doing, but it's not paranormal investigation. And it's not. It's paranormal entertainment. They're really good at that. It's from that we then had people ramping it up even more. And you've heard me talk about him before on this channel, Stephen Shippey. The Haunting on Dice Road, which started off as a great paranormal deep dive. I was really taken. But then after a while, I started to go, okay, some of this stuff is just a little too textbook. It's almost too good of evidence. And I thought, well, you know, it is an edited film. This is a long investigation over a long period of time. But it was when Stephen Shippey is having his aside to the camera, and he happens to have a Ouija board for whatever reason in front of him, like a placemat, and then suddenly the planchette moves without him. That was when I said, okay, this is all fakery. This is ridiculous. Every time I've seen him on other specials, when I saw him team up with the Ghost Hunters, I didn't like his style. I did not like his approach. I did not like the fact that he sees something and then immediately tears after it like he is some cop trying to chase down a perp. That to me is not respectful. It is not responsible. It's just plain dumb. But it looks great for television. So now we're talking about paranormal entertainment. And if I haven't said it already, I'm going to say it again. I do think paranormal investigation can be entertaining. Yes, it's harder to do because now you are focused more on what is happening in your moment, what is happening at the time, and the evidence that you're hopefully recording. But you won't know until you review said evidence. That being said, I still think paranormal investigation can be entertaining. I've said it many times on my stream, said it many times on this channel. Portals to Hell has the worst name of the best paranormal series I've ever watched, and I learned more from it. Jack Osborne makes me want to be a better paranormal investigator. I think he's one of the best in the industry, and it was from watching him that I was learning about things like interference from a walkie-talkie that can set off a REM pod. I didn't know that, and then when it happened to me, I got really excited. But then I noticed, hey, wait a second. Every time I set off my walkie-talkie, the REM pod goes off. And then, of course, I went to watch a Portals to Hell, and that's when Jack was like, is anybody on walkies? And I was like, oh, well, okay then. And this is how you learn. This is how you learn. You make mistakes, and you want to make sure that the mistakes that you make in the field are identified as mistakes, that you can debunk them, or that you can misinterpret something that you may think is a positive. And Portals to Hell, in my opinion, was entertaining paranormal investigation. Yeah, there were a couple episodes I didn't care for. It's the same thing with Kindred Spirits. I I love Kindred Spirits. It's one of my favorite shows on the paranormal. But there were some shows that I was like, wait, you're connecting those dots? And I didn't buy into it at all. And I found it to be a weak episode. But in paranormal entertainment, the investigation may not always be what matters. What matters is results. What matters is people connecting the dots. 2 and 2 are not necessarily 4. That, it's suddenly something mysterious, and you've got to you got to build a narrative around it. I understand that. I understand that paranormal entertainment comes first, especially when money is exchanging hands and when studios are involved. So now we get to Satori and Cody. There's only one thing that comes to my mind, and it's a place that I have a lot of love for. It's a place that Kindred Spirits has investigated. We have been there repeated times. I just spent my 55th birthday there. It's a place called Linville Manor, and that place continues to challenge me. It continues to make me ask questions, and I love going there. I love going there because every time we go there, something new happens. There's just something, and if it doesn't happen to us, it happens to people who are with us. And I'm good with that. But here's the part that scares me. And I'm liking this to what's going on right now with Satori and Cody. If I were to find out that the purveyor of Linville Manor had somehow rigged the place to do different things and to do stuff to perpetuate the notion that it was the old creepy house on the hill. If it came out that he was doing some pokery jiggery, I'd quit. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'd quit. Because it would hurt too much to go back. And as good as it is to question everything that you experience at any of these haunted locations, a place like Linville for me is, I'm too close to it. I go there now for fun. I go there now because I want to have a good experience. I want to have a good time. I love Linville Manor. But if I were to find out that had been rigged in any way, it would crush me. And that's what I have to say about the Satori and Cody and the ghost hunters relationship. I'm just going to leave it at that. And this is where the line between paranormal investigation and paranormal entertainment it's a thin one. It's a very thin line. And whenever money is exchanging hands, there is almost an unspoken guarantee. If you are saying, hey, I'm going to give you money to do something paranormal, you are making a promise that something is going to happen, and you can't make that promise. You cannot promise people that if you come on my paranormal event, if you come to my my YouTube channel, if you come here, there's something going to happen that's going to change your mind. There's something that's going to happen that's going to broaden your horizons. There's something that's going to happen that will make you believe that ghosts exist. I have been in the field for 2.5 years, and I still don't know if I can say that with a straight face. I will say some things have happened to me in this space that I cannot explain. And that is what I tell people when we host paranormal events. I said it just recently at TwitchCon. I don't think that I have proven in 2.5 years of studying the paranormal that the afterlife exists. Has some really weird stuff happened to me in that time? Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. And when you do a public event, you have to kind of put out there, we can't guarantee that this is going to go the way you think it's going to go. No one's going to be levitated. No one's going to be playing Kate Bush. No one's going to be, speaking in Latin. We can't guarantee anything. We can take you on a journey. We can take you on a journey. We can show you what we do. And if something happens, great. And if it doesn't happen, we tried. And the real problem is that paranormal entertainment, whether it is hosting public events or whether it is working on Discovery Plus or having a successful YouTube channel, it's big business. Why wouldn't you want to do something like this full time? I would love to do this full time. I love editing these videos together. I love editing 5 Minute Paranormals. I love putting together episodes for when Phil and I are out and about. And I really am enjoying the new approach that we're taking with Old Spirits. So yeah, when money is exchanging hands, people want results. And that, I think, is part of the trapping of paranormal entertainment, is that expectation. And you can watch all these videos about Satori and Cody, and you can watch all these videos about Sam and Colby. You can watch our upcoming review of Chris and Selena. It's hard. It's a hard line to walk. And the advantage of YouTube is that you have people that are doing it for the love of it. But even with YouTube, there is an exchange of money. I mean, Amy's Crypt have to keep their analytics up. It's the same thing with Paranormal Quest. Ryan and Dave are moving around, and they're going from place to place. Of course, they want to be able to do this full time so that they can cover more spots. Maybe you'd eventually do what Amy's Crypt is doing and go overseas. Why not? Why not? That'd be an absolute blast if we reach that level at Old Spirits. And yeah, I'll admit, I'm watching the analytics. I want to be able to offer this. I want to be able to make some money at this so that we can do this full time. And speaking of Ryan and Dave over at Paranormal Quest, this is an advantage that YouTube offers that the networks necessarily do not. No one can cancel you at YouTube. Unless you break their rules, nobody can cancel you at YouTube. And when paranormal investigations don't yield any really good evidence, what do? You put up the episode and you go, hey, we're keeping it real. And that was what happened to Ryan and Dave on their recent outing. And if we walked away from the Conjuring House, or if we walked away from Gettysburg with nothing, I'd be okay with that, because it comes back to integrity. I know I can look at everything that we've done and everything that we've tried and everything that we have brought back from different locations, and I can say we didn't make any of that up. Because that's the thing about integrity. It's really hard to build. I did an entire 5 Minute Paranormal about trust after a troll left us a comment that made me go, you know what? That's actually 5 Minute Paranormal worthy. Because you've got to trust me and Phil, just in the same way you got to trust Amy and Jared. And that's what makes integrity such a valued commodity in the paranormal industry. It's really hard to build. Nobody in these circles knew me and Phil. And we come in with our modest offerings, and we are trying to make the best impression that we can make. Integrity is extremely hard to build, but it's super easy to lose. There is something to be said for integrity. There is something to be said for the value of being trusted by the people that watch you. And that is the line we walk in paranormal entertainment and paranormal investigation. I'd like to think that we are entertaining when we investigate. That's what Phil and I aim for. And I do think investigations can be entertaining, but you as an individual need to recognize where that line is and how far you're willing to go beyond that line to then say, this is not for me anymore. And there's my Paranormal Personal. It's about making sure that you know where that line is for you, what works for you, what you enjoy, and more importantly, being able to recognize the difference between the two. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I promise I won't wait another year to do it again. Okay? And you know where the comment section is. wide open. Love to hear from you.